And I want to, in a very humble manner, tell you my story, just to encourage you that it is possible. You have seen it here. I saw you clapping as you saw me barefoot. It is true. My toes were jigger infested. I used to walk this way. But I've stayed in Nairobi for some time. I've perfected my way of life and straight, and now I walk straight. This man here, who is Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the Principal Assistant to President William Ruto, one of the greatest leaders in Africa, was born 59 years ago in a small village called Herega, in a grass-thatched house that was the remnant of the colonial structures where my father and mother, now deceased, were confined by the colonialists. My parents were peasants. They had not gone to school. They owned nothing. They had only the gift of giving birth to many children because we were 9. They were freedom fighters. My father was a gunsmith in the Mount Kenya forest, where he would service weapons for the Mau Mau fighters, while my mother would bring food and ammunition stolen from Keganja Police College to keep the war going. We were 9, no means of income. Many times we were chased out of school. Many times we went hungry. Our heads were full of lice. And I don't know whether you know how many types of lice that we have. I don't think whether you know how many types of lice do we have. We have 2 types. One is which color? Yeah? One is black and a white one. The black one is found in the head, the white one in the body. I don't think you know. That is the kind of life we led. Our beds were full of bed bugs. Our jiggers were invested with jiggers. But we had a determination that one day we shall be somebody. Went to an ordinary school and walked every day for 9 kilometers, to and fro 18 kilometers every day to get education. And somehow we went through school, and in 1977 I was able to do my certificate of primary education. It was called CPE then. And I was able to get admission to Kenyatta High School, where I did from 1 to from 6, and passed well, and went to the University of Nairobi, where I did Bachelor of Arts in Literature and Political Science. I got a job in the public service as a young district officer and served in many parts of this great country. Thereafter, I became the personal assistant to the head of public service then, Professor Philip Mbithi, and later on, I became the personal assistant to President Uhuru Kenyatta when he was presidential candidate and later leader of official opposition. From there, when President Uhuru Kenyatta did not make it in the year 2002, I left for the private sector and did business for 15 years. And I was able to build from nothing a huge empire of business where I employed over 1,000 people. Later on, I was to join Parliament as Member of Parliament, and I only stayed in Parliament for 5 years. And after only 5 years in Parliament, I became the Deputy President of this great republic. The secret is simple. One, you must believe in God, and you must have faith. You must have faith, first in yourself and your desires.
My name is Professor Fred Ogola. Today I'm addressing you on the economic implication of passing the family protection bill. In as much as the family needs to be protected, in as much as I believe on the African values, because I am an African value, I'm an African person, we also have to understand things into context. First and foremost, what problem are we trying to address by passing the family protection bill? In Uganda, there was a chance whereby people started recruiting people to misuse them using what's called homosexuals, started recruiting young girls and boys and misusing them. And that's why Uganda passed the LGBTQ bill. In Ghana, it was more of someone who has personal relationship with the US that came up with the bill, sponsored by Honorable George. South Africa, having had a very long history of discrimination under apartheid, they discovered there was no need to put any form of discrimination either in their laws or the constitution, because they passed through apartheid. So they are very clear in Article 9 that there is no discrimination of any kind, whether it's on sex, whether it's on gender, whether it's on race, whether it's on color, or anything else. There's no form of discrimination. And I can tell you very well that the family protection bill brings discrimination among certain people. Remember when we went to court on the Finance Act, the basis of nullifying the Finance Act was on discrimination. And I think that the bill sponsored by Charles Kanjama and Kaluma against the people who have declared that they have tendencies of LGBTQ is going to end up being discriminational. Why am I saying this so? First of all, we have to find that as a Christian, as a Catholic, as an African, as a Kenyan, the Bible, there are 26 verses in the Bible that says that LGBTQ acts are sins. They are immoral. And therefore, those means that they fall in the domain of the church. The Pope, which is the head of the Catholic Church, is infallible on matters faith and morals. And the Pope has said that God hates sinners. God hates sin, but God does not hate sinners. God wants sinners to be given a chance to recover. So the Pope has declared that the LGBTQ people needs protection. They need care. They have talked about the issue of duty of care to be given to them by the priests, and all religions have been ordered by the Pope to give them the duty of care. Now, I'm sure that Charles Kanjama confesses Opus Dei faith, and I believe that Charles Kanjama is a religious person and should be able to obey the Pope's order, because the Pope cannot be wrong on matters moral and faith. And I believe that for them pretending that they are fighting LGBTQ and sponsoring a bill against them, they are doing something which is not very helpful. Why am I trying to say so? We have to know that the highest level of laws comes from divine law, which is given by God. That is followed by national law. So national law, it defines the human nature. So some people are born with more than one sexual organs. So naturally, it's not something they are put in themselves. That is how it is. So if you want to take them for 50 years in jail, in which jail do you take them? Can you take them to a female cell, or you take them to the male cell? Will you create a cell for each and every individual throughout the country? How much cost that is? And we have done tabulation of the cost of constructing prisons and also offering financial care, all the spiritual care, is around 11.5 billion shillings that we have to blow every year in doing that. The cost of building those prisons will be around another 28 billion shillings. And we found out that development partners like the IMF, World Bank, remember IMF, World Bank, US, UK, EU, funds Kenya, not just the national budget, but also humanitarian support. They have threatened to withdraw those support in case we pass an LGBTQ. The total